Incoming mail.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's market color session. My name is Sabi Abi, and I'll be taking today's session where we'll be looking at analysis on commodity currencies. So let's see what the market has in store for us on this very beautiful day. So we're going to be starting with NZD USD from the H4 time frame. Now look at that. NZD USD predominantly since somewhere around June has been selling. Look at that, June, right? I believe so, yes. It's been selling so much. And during our last analysis session, which was last week, Tuesday, I believe, where I handled the session, we said I was looking at NZD USD, most likely continuing to sell, maybe into the next major support level, which we happen to have around 0.54840. But before it does that, we marked out certain points of interest that NZD USD could temporarily buy back into before it continues the overall sell move. And you'd see that those zones are still pretty much on the chart. However, for the sake of those of us who were not able to join us, I'm going to be starting a fresh analysis. So take this all out and start afresh so we see what it is we're looking out for today specifically. So zooming in into NZD USD on the H4 time frame, you'd see that predominantly it's downward. Our trend is also facing to the downside. And then we have a new sunshine. Downtrend break of structure is also to the downside. We now have a new sunshine that has been printed, which made this temporal buy we see here expected. So now that this has occurred, I'm thinking because there's no new sunshine that has been printed on the opposite direction, we may see more levels for NZD USD to buy back in. So look at that. So there's a point of interest here around 0.56371, another point of interest somewhere around 0.57049, and then we have a final point of interest downward here, which happens to be 0.58053 or 0.56053 rather. These are now the 3 points of interest I'm looking out for on the 1 hour time frame, saying that we should see temporal buys into the zones before price continues to sell. And indicator aside, even if we're using our naked chart, using price action, you'd want to see a deeper retracement to allow your stop loss to be tight so that you're not giving too much as a stop loss and getting little in return. So preferably on the 1 hour time frame, I would want to see price retrace into these 3 points of interest first before it continues. But now looking at the 5-minute time frame, because we may see some points of interest around this zone. We may see some levels around this zone. Kindly give me a second. All right, I'm back. So we may see price retracing into certain level points on the 5-minute time frame. What are they? Again, very typical of us to draw yesterday's high, which happens to have a lot of resistance that price already broke through. And then we have day before yesterday's high right here, almost in confluence, just a little bit of difference. And then we have yesterday's low marked out here. And then day before yesterday's low as well, which happens to be in confluence with the 1 hour point of interest. So these are now the 4 levels I've marked out on NZD/USD. And I'm saying if we're going to see continuous breaks of NZD/USD to the upside, this could be the next resistance that stands in this way. However, if price is able to break through this level, then we may see continuous buys of NZD/USD until a new sunshine is printed or till it trades into the top level of the H1 point of interest, which is 0.57049. However, if price violates these zones like it's starting to do on M5, it already broke through, came back to retest, it's going back to retest rather. If it happens to retest and comes to break through this level and continues to give us more break of structures, then we may see even more downward movement for NZD/USD. But does that mean we're going to be eager to jump in? I'll still prefer to see deeper retracement. That's pretty much it for NZD/USD. And then for AUD/USD, starting from the H4 time frame, but this guy has been buying since March all the way to the upside. However, I was ready to see change of characters, break of structures around this zone. Zooming in, you see that sunshine has been printed around this level. Our trend indicator is still predominantly to the upside. Only thing is we have our downtrend break of structure downward, sunshine printed. Now, because of this sunshine that has been printed, we're expecting what? Temporal buys. All right, so we may now see, retracement on H1. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. This was from the previous analysis. So adjust that into today's points of interest to see what price does. So 0.64, 659, 64994, and 65216. And now the 3 points of interest we're saying price would or could buy back into before we now start to see if what we saw on H4 is going to hold, which is that change of character. Is it going to give us even more confirmations? However, if it's not going to hold, then we may see buy breakthrough all of this and continues to buy. Now on M5, hi Mr. Shay, good morning. On the M5 time frame, I'm just pretty much going to mark out yesterday's low right here, yesterday's high as well. Right. So these are now the levels I've marked out on M5. Please just take note of the price point around this zone. Look at that. This is POI 1, 64678, 64650, 64516, and 64424. Let's see what price does. So go back to H4. Sunshine printed. We're expecting temporal buys into these points of interest. Price is currently retesting one of the points of interest. If it's going to hold, we'll see confirmations on M1 that makes us know that, okay, it's time to enter. But if it does not hold, then we'll see more breaks into 0.64994 or 65216, and then we'll start to look for confirmations to start to buy. Now look at H4. No sunshine has been printed on your opposite direction. So is it possible we see more buys of AUD USD? So it gives us a new sunshine indicating that people who were doing this have taken profit. It is likely. So we'll be watching to see what it does and acting accordingly. And then finally looking at USD CAD. This is the zone we marked out from our last analysis where we said USD CAD is going to buy and target the next resistance level. You'd also see, zooming in, you see where we said price was going to come, do this, and then continue to buy. Do you see how beautifully this played out? So take this off because it has done what it was supposed to do. What are we now looking for today? Now looking for today's movement, you see that sunshine has been printed. So ideally, we still want to see a better retracement, although it is safe to say price already did that and retraced somewhere into this zone, which is 1.40799. But we're still going to go ahead and mark out what we always mark out, respecting the law of the all-weather strategy. We'll mark them out and we'll get a clearer data to see what price is doing. So price has been moving quite slowly, I would say, to the upside. And we're now marking out these 3 points of interest, saying it is likely we see a retracement of USD CAD into these different points of interest. 1.40768, 1.40472, and 1.40205. This is what we're now marking out to say, okay, even if price is currently buying, we're not just going to jump in to buy because it is buying. We want to see a good enough retracement. So these are now the points of interest I'm watching out for. On M5, what I'm now going to do, same thing I did on the two other asset classes, is to mark out yesterday's high. Before yesterday's high. Yesterday's low happens to be in confluence with the 5-minute trend and day before yesterday's. So I'm not saying, okay, come and give me retracements into these zones. Let me see confirmations before I continue to buy USD CAD. That is pretty much it for what I'm looking out for. Let me quickly look at Forex Factory to see what high impact news release we have coming out today. Okay, so today is the 25th of November, 2025. That is a Tuesday. We happen to have few high impact news releases coming out. There's one on the dollar, core PPI. There's core retail sales, PPI month on month, and retail sales month on month, right? And these are all coming out by 2:30 p.m. So we're going to be watching to see what impacts they happen to have on the chart. You should also watch out for that because this is the dollar. Forgive my voice. This is going to be on the dollar, and we're looking at dollar correlated asset classes. Good morning, Abi. Yeah, me too. Me too, Mr. Shea. Good morning, sir. So great to have you on board. So yes, I also hope we have, more clarity and more liquidity as well. So we'll be watching to see what happens. You should, for those of us who don't really know how to use Forex Live, Forex Factory to understand what these news releases mean. Just go on Forex Live when they do come out, and you'll see the breakdown of what they mean, and be able to tally that to the chart. And if you want to learn how to make sense of fundamentals and how it makes sense to add that to technical analysis, send us a DM so you enroll for the next class, the final class for the year 2025, which is going to be in 2 weeks, I believe, in December. We're wrapping up with a bang, and you definitely don't want to miss that. Stasha, I've been following you on Facebook. I've been saying really great stuff. Okay, so let's call it a wrap here. Ideally would have looked at indices, but Demila is currently unavailable. So when we do come back by 2 p.m., you may be around to give us, more insight on indices. Mr. Shea, are you looking at anything today? Do you want to share, sir? Anything you're looking at today? Okay. What position? What's your bias? Okay. So he's looking at sell continuation on GBP USD. So you should also watch out for that if you trade GBP USD. Okay, so let's just call it a wrap here. Thank you so much for sharing that, sir. We'll reconvene by 2 p.m. to wrap up this session. With that being said, do have an amazing trading day. Cheers and God bless. Thank you so much for joining once again. Bye. Bye, sir.